Hi cuties! Welcome back to another Scout Builds over Explained. Last time we looked at my Combat Scout build. And as you can see from these recent missions that I used it in, I don't mess around with that build. That build I'm playing to win. Of course that's the build I use to beat quite a difficult EDD, as you see here. Ding! That was my Combat Scout build. So what about when I play a more support role? Of course my Combat Scout build is mostly my solo build. But what about multiplayer? I have what I call a Medic Scout build. Of course you don't have to use it that way, it's just the way I use it. It's the way I use it best. It's more of a support scout. I actually use shield battery booster with shield link. It's an underrated build. I don't know many people who like it for various reasons, but I got it to work pretty well for me. As you can see, I do pretty well with it. With that said, why don't we head over to the equipment terminal and we'll go through my Medic Scout build. Otherwise, shield battery booster. Whoosh! Boop! Okay, this build I mostly take on salvage missions. It is absolutely perfect for salvage missions. Because with the shield link in salvage, during the black box and the fuel cells, you're always within 4 meters of your teammates. So you're giving yourself and your teammates that shield boost, and also keeping your shields boosted is giving you the damage boost of your weapon. And not only that, once you're inside the green zone, you can always give a good power boost to one of your teammates' shields. Personally, I always choose the driller. I want my driller to stay up out of all of them, as he has that AoE. But I will take it on other missions too. Caretaker missions, I'll take it on a lot. Escort sometimes, especially if there's greenbeards in the team, like if there's like rank 20s to rank 50-ishes, maybe it's their first Has 5 or they're new to Has 5, I'll take it just so I can keep them alive mostly. I can constantly keep boosting their shields and get them up easier, and that's why I call it my Medic Scout loadout, because that's pretty much the role I'm playing when I take this build. So let's take a look at it. So here's my Medic Scout. The most important part of this is the shield battery booster, the shield link, and the field medic. Everything else is preference that you can play around with, but those three are essential for this build. And of course on armor rig, shield begins to regenerate sooner, and invulnerability. So let's take a look at the Drac first, shall we? How do we get shield battery booster to work? One of the biggest complaints about shield battery booster is overheating. If you overheat, your shields will drop. That's not a problem to me. In fact, that can actually be beneficial, and we'll come to that later. But what do we have on tier 1 here? Less heat generated per shot. That's a no-brainer. We don't want to overheat. On tier 2 we go damage, of course. I mean battery capacity, we already have 850. Oh, what a monster magazine. We have plenty of ammo already. But if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of damage, maybe you only play Has 3 instead of Has 5, you can probably afford to lose that 2 direct damage. It's pretty much negligible on Has 3, and you've got a massive 1000 battery there with larger battery. But I mostly play Has 5, so I want that extra damage. Every little extra damage helps. At tier 3 we have Gen 2 cooling system. Again, I don't want to be overheating, but I also don't want to be not firing. It allows your gun to cool faster while you're not firing, so I can fire again much sooner. As you know from most of my builds, I usually go hot feet, but on this one, Gen 2 cooling system definitely. So these three are pretty much essential. Okay, tier 4, preference, pretty much your personal preference. I'll actually switch this up depending on mission modifiers. Say Swarmageddon, of course I'll go splash damage. Dreads or Caretaker, I'll usually take splash damage again, but for the most part PCF works just fine for me. Tier 5, Essential, Manual Heat Dump. Another complaint I hear about Shield Battery Booster is when you get hit, you lose the damage bonus. Again, that's not a problem to me. If your shields are damaged, sure, you lose the damage boost, but you've still got the base damage of the Drac, which is pretty nice considering its fire rate. So a temporary slump in the damage is not a big problem to me. But this is why we have Manual Heat Dump. If you get hit, I wouldn't recommend doing it where I did it here. I was confident doing this because I knew I wouldn't get hit. It's important to know I am not a skilled player, okay? I am not good at Deep Rock Galactic, but what I am is experienced. I play a lot. So I know how to dodge different attacks, and I know most of the time how not to get hit. But as you see here, I got hit, my shields were damaged, so I dumped my mag, which temporarily brings your shields down just for a second, and then they will instantly regenerate, as you see. It's also why I always take Shield Link. Shield Link is essential for this build. Again, say you're hit, your shields are down or damaged. Well, as it says here, when you're within 4 meters of a teammate, both of your shields recharge 50% faster. That's what makes this a great build for salvage or any mission where you're kind of close to your teammates, escort, caretaker. If your shields are damaged, just zip to your nearest teammate just for a couple of seconds, and as you see here, I did this in this mission, and zippity, my shields are back up and I'm back at full damage. And also with this, for 30 seconds you can give a teammate a whopping 300% boost to their shield. That's absolutely massive and essential to me when I'm playing Medic Scout. As you see here, I took a Greenbeard with me on a Has-5 elimination, and the poor guy got downed, so I got him up and immediately gave his shields a boost to give him a good 30 seconds with 300% shields to get him out of danger to some red sugar or to the nearest supply. Of course, if you was a gunner, you'd just throw your shield around him. Unfortunately, as Scout, we don't have a gunner shield, but this is pretty much the next best thing. As you can see, the Greenbeard, he went for a supply after being downed again. The poor guy, he did his best, bless him. So I gave his shields a quick boost just so he could supply safely and not get downed straight away, because I'm not sure if he had invulnerability on his armor or not. The other perks you don't need to pay much attention to. I'll change these depending on mission type. This is just pretty much my typical salvage loadout. I've got Veteran Depositor on there because you're always within 7 meters of the drop pod when you're at the black box or the fuel cells. Most of the time you're within 7 meters. Born Ready, just so I don't have to manually reload my Bolt Shark. But often I will actually go Unstoppable, depending on a biome, Glacial Strata and Dense Biozone specifically, because Unstoppable, it prevents the jellyfish slowdowns. Resupplier, because again this is mostly my salvage loadout. I don't want to be taking forever resupplying while the fuel cells are up. I'll often change these around. Sometimes I'll just take Red Sugar, Radioactive Exclusion Zone, sometimes I'll take Elemental Insulation, or sometimes I'll just take Born Ready and Unstoppable if I don't think I'm going to take much damage in a mission, say a mining mission. But for the most part, this is my salvage loadout. So it's about the secondary and the grenade. These two are mostly preference. You don't have to take what I take here. The only essential ones are these two and this one. But we'll go through my choices here. pheromones, because distraction is always good. The bolt shark is my second favourite weapon. I'll take it with most loadouts these days. This was a dread mission I took this build on. I find pheromones are great on dread missions. When the hive guard turns up, it's a great distraction for the sentinels, and it's a great distraction to get your teammates up. Pheromone the nearest praetorian or oppressor, and that's all your bugs sorted for you. Damage, of course, I'll take damage on most bolt shark builds anyway, unless I'm using the bolt shark not to damage. Say if I'm going cryo and pheromones or fire and pheromones, I won't need this. I'll just go with expanded quiver or even increased ammo. But as you see here, I have bodkin points just to give me that little bit of swarm clear to get teammates up easier. So I definitely need damage on this one, because as you see, the damage fall from 130 to 55 with bodkin points is a pretty harsh drop, but it ricochets 3 times, so you're hitting 3 enemies, and it has great stunning capability, and it pretty much, even on has 5, 1 bodkin point will take out 3 grunts, so it's a pretty good tool to keep just for a little bit of swarm clear for me. Reload speed, I always go reload speed on the bolt shark. I don't want to be stood there reloading forever. Movement speed after killing an enemy, I'll take this most of the time on bolt shark, again unless I'm not using the bolt shark to kill, but I am using it to kill here. I want to zip in and zip out fast, and because we have pheromones, of course, I want potency. This increases the duration of the pheromones for longer distraction. So this is a bolt shark build I take on my medic scout build, but again, you don't have to take this one. You can sort of go boomstick with blow through. I haven't touched this for a long time. This is a really old bolt shark build I used to use. Special powder, as you can see there, I haven't used that in months, but I'm just saying it as an example. Boomstick with blow through would be good. Just something just something with swarm clear would help you with this build. Grenade, again, total preference. I take the boomerang just so I don't have to worry about pests such as Mactera Trijaws or Swarmers. I can just easily take a bunch of them out. It's got 8 charges, so you get plenty of them. When teammates are down, I can just throw a boomerang. Lets me clear the little swarm around their corpse so I can revive them. But cryo grenades would be good for that too. A teammate is down, of course, you can just lob a cryo grenade, get them up straight away, and you don't have to clear the swarm first. And you can boost their shield, and then you can clear the swarm together. IFG 2 would be good, because you get the 30% damage boost on top of your shield battery boost. But again, I like a little bit of swarm clear, I like a little bit of swarm distraction, I like a little bit of swarm stunning capabilities, and not having to deal with flying pests or tiny little pitter-patter pests. And so, to summarise, for a fantastic medic scout build, shield battery booster 22211, field medic, shield link. Everything else is preference. You can play around with them as you see fit, depending on biome, mission type. And if you're wondering how the elimination mission ended using this build, this is how. You see, it works for me. It may or may not work for you. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, try something else. It won't be to everybody's cup of tea, and it won't be to everybody's playstyle either. But for my playstyle, this is one of my favourite builds if I want to play more of a support role. Fantastic for salvage, but it's great for caretaker, escort. I wouldn't really take it on aquarks or refinery, because you know, where you're a little bit further away from your teammates at all times, but any mission where you're quite close to your teammates, great for mining missions because they're mostly narrow corridors, so you're always quite close to your teammates in there. But again, unless there's greenbeards in the team, that I'll take this specifically to keep them alive for. This is mostly my salvage build. Boop! Okay, so that's my Meta Scout build, over-explained. Have you played around with Shield Battery Booster and Shield Link? Put it in the comments, I'd love to hear how it worked out for you. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is there a way you could improve it? Have you tweaked the mods any? For me, it's one of my favourite builds to keep Greenbeards alive, get them on their feet, and if need be, save a mission from failure. A quick thank you to my lovely patron Kosmo. I very much appreciate you. And thank you for supporting me for so long. I have no idea why you have, but I really do appreciate it. It's very nice to have somebody so loyal. I'm going to have a smart scout now and go play some more missions. I think I'll see you babies next time. Today's Scout Learns, I believe we're going to be doing the twinsies next. That'll be interesting. I've actually never fought twins solo before, so that will be interesting. Stop procrastinating. Get back to work, team, before you make MC cry. Bye bye. Zippity!